Hi, welcome to HIM 5112, Week 6, Module 11. How mobile technology plays a factor in modern information systems and how it can help patients expand their role in their own healthcare and wellness. Our learning objectives. Learning Objective 1. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to describe how mobile technology plays a factor in modern information systems. And Learning Objective 2, describe how mobile technology can help patients expand their role in their own healthcare. So let's look at mobile technology in modern health information systems. I'm not going to go all the way back to the beginning and explain what is a mobile phone or a mobile device like a tablet or a wearable like a watch, or even what an app is, because I think everybody today understands what these are. So here's some basic categories for healthcare related apps. They can be apps to help people manage their own health and wellness, to help healthcare professionals improve and facilitate patient care, diagnose conditions, securely view clinical information, such as in Epic MyChart or Cerner's equivalent, and apps to collect research data, such as REDCap. And then there's also hardware. So things like cameras to be able to detect changes, whether it's a skin lesion to something in your eye or anything like that. A spectrometer, GPS, sensors, and other types of hardware. And there's many other types of categories. Some of these apps we know about because as consumers, we can go through the App Store for an iPhone or the equivalent for an Android phone, and we can see some of these apps. But there are other apps that are not open to the consumer, and they're more on the clinician side, and they may be apps that help clinicians calculate things like bone density scores or up to date to get some information. It's sort of like the qualified Google for physicians. A few examples of mHealth. mHealth can be used for patient education, for collecting patient-reported outcomes during clinical trials. This is something where patient-reported outcomes for many, many years used to be reported on paper, which is kind of silly since patients or research participants, many of them are walking around with their phones. Why not report the outcomes as they happen? It can be a diagnostic tool. It can be used for medication adherence, managing one's own health, be a symptom checker, help with remote patient monitoring, and there are many other types of information such as security and other information in the HIMSS library for mHealth that you can look at through that link. So let's take a look at what Gartner's research shows us and their predictions. And this is pretty recent. This is Gartner research from December 2018. So it takes a look at the current state and where we're headed into 2019, where we are now. A healthcare business driver, power shifting to the consumer. And this is big because I'll go back maybe just 3 or 4 years ago and seeing that power be more on the clinical and the IT side over the patient. I'll give you one example. There was, at one particular health system, there was one physician who said that he wanted to use iPads or some type of tablet in the pediatric operating room so that pediatric patients could send pictures or short text while back to their parents in the waiting room. He felt that it would make the children feel better and less scared. And right away, IT said, and I quote, "We are going to shut that down." And we can't think like that anymore. This emerging consumer power stands in sharp contrast to the historical paternalism of healthcare, just like the example I just gave you. Healthcare and life science chief information officers have to lead digital efforts to improve engagement with customers and caretakers. And customers includes patients, visitors, research participants, medical students, medical trainees, and the workforce, and the community as well. The integration of healthcare and social care and key developments in consumer-directed data exchange are huge right now. Traditional boundaries are quickly eroding with the healthcare sector and even between healthcare and other industries. And we'll talk a little more about that in the next couple of slides. So what to do in 2019? We need to make sure as healthcare informatics professionals, we upgrade consumer-facing applications to deploy enterprise intelligence by enabling consumers under the right conditions to exercise their power. And you can see in this graphic here how new consumer actions are shifting the power in healthcare as consumers are increasingly looking at data and information, choices that they're making, and connections. Smartphones and an ecosystem of personal technologies that surround them have, in many regions, become the most important human-computer interface. Healthcare leaders will need to learn to respect that consumer power that's happening. And in this graphic, you can see the summary of contributing trends to consumer power and the business and IT implications. So over on the trend side, we have evidence of engagement outcomes. We know that the more patients are engaged, the better their health outcomes. Digitization of healthcare, moving from paper to electronic. New consumer expectations, consumers gaining, quote, power of the purse, and more revenue tied directly to these measures. And CX stands for consumer experience. And for business implications, we need to move from control to engage. Not control the patient, not tell them what to do, but engage them. Brand management, embracing personal technology, and participating in or creating platform businesses. The IT implications, IT needs to be agile and pervasive with data governance, needs to look at economics of connections, and needs to be consumer-facing with their digital services and have intelligence into operations. Also, health systems need to monitor social media. Embrace the personal technology ecosystem. IT can soon become a competitive differentiator. So right now, where someone may choose one hospital or one healthcare provider over another, it could be for many different reasons. Pretty soon, it could be because the IT is better or the informatics are better. Leadership means expanding options to consumers, not limiting them. And Gartner predicts that by 2023, which is not that far away, 60% of healthcare consumers in the U.S. will have access to and control of their health data using a technology of their own choosing. So big change is coming, and it's consumer-centric. If you take a look at this diagram here, I have an arrow pointing right to the App Store. So I apologize for Android mobile device users, but when we say App Store, this is not specific to iPhone. It's the App Store in general. Apple's expedited Food and Drug Administration approval of the Apple Watch electrocardiogram functionality, breaking the barrier between consumer technology and life sciences. This required Apple to partner with Stanford University and use the FDA's digital health pre-certification program to expedite the FDA's market authorization. And another example of where we're breaking barriers between healthcare and other industries would be Amazon's purchase of PillPack. It was a watershed moment as this digital native geared up to disrupt traditional healthcare players, including big pharma, including pharmacy benefit managers and retail pharmacies. Market implications for health systems and consumers via personal data exchanges, the widespread use of medical monitoring devices, consumer wearables, wellness applications, direct-to-consumer genomic testing, and associated data. is leading to the unprecedented generation of patient-generated health data. The MIT Technology Review called 2017 the year consumer DNA testing blew up. I think right now there's the numbers that I've heard is that 1 in every 25 people have access to their own genomic data, and that number's growing every day. Ensure an understanding of data science, data analytics, and artificial intelligence capabilities. Ensure your organization is prepared to process and analyze these new data types and is clear on the potential impact to privacy and security policies. For the next module, take a look at Canvas for readings, links, and videos. Utilize this time for group project work. There will be an optional open Zoom session on February 21st at 8 p.m. There's also an online discussion board. It is actually separate discussion boards, one for each team. You can post questions, comments, problems that you run into with your group project. And the case study 2 is also due on February 25th. So with that said, enjoy this coming week. Thank you.